Hey everybody, this is Chris Dryden with Thunder, and I wanted to walk you through a solution that we put together with Salesforce Billing, and obviously the holistic Salesforce platform. So something that Salesforce Billing has struggled to do easily is more of a kind of like a variable billing for something that could be wildly different, right? Like maybe it's not a current customer and they need to repurchase like a reprint of something, or something that maybe they never intended to purchase, and they need a like a quick invoice for, or something that maybe needs to be regenerated. It's something that like billing is going to want some kind of source for this data, whether it's like a quote or an amendment or something like that, and the business process may not actually kind of warrant that or substantiate going through those processes. So like shipping is another good instance of this. So what we've made here at Thunder is a solution to quickly enable customers to be able to charge for that quickly, easily, in a process that can be done manually, which I'll show today, or through a data load exercise, like month end, which is also kind of an element that I'll show. But without further ado, I'm going to kind of jump into this. So we're going to, as I've got on the screen here, I've got an add-on charge object. Just had a test one here, but let's create one new. And again, this add-on charge object is actually an object that's part of a package that we've put together, which easily facilitates these charges. Let's go ahead and make a new one. Add off charge name, we'll just call just 2, because I'm not very original here. It's day, we'll say today. Amount. So a couple things on amount. You can leave the amount field blank, and whatever product that we actually select, it'll just go pull the most recent price book entry that is active for the product. So you can have a number that you completely make up, like shipping. Let's say $75. Then you'll need to do count, which will be a required field here. So whether it's 1, whether it's 2, it's 100. You can put whatever number you want. You're not limited here. We'll just say that this is a tablet, and $75 for a tablet doesn't seem like much of a tablet. So we'll make this $750. It's one of the expensive iPads or something like that. Count still 1. We do have these optional differentiator fields here. So like this is an underlying field that's called business unit. We also have like the concept of the payment method, which where we initially put this together was to be able to specify, like which auto pay payment method would be used, or whether it's ACH credit card. You can do this across accounts too, as we did. This business unit element could be multiple properties, subsidiaries. This can also be used to dictate taxation. So you may have multiple things that need to be shipped to multiple places that have different tax addresses. This quickly and easily allows you to do that. So let me pick an account here. I'll just do that. On a business unit. There's one. We'll do tests. We'll just pick a payment method. That's it. That's all that's required. And really, these bottom 2 aren't even necessarily required. Like maybe you just want to bill an account and you don't have a differentiator that you need to use, or like a payment method that you would want to group invoices by or something like that. This is just demonstrating some of the flexibility that this has. So we'll go ahead and hit save here. As you can see, a couple things have happened. So we've got a couple more fields that we can see, so I'll talk you through that. So there is a box, a checkbox. It's more or less a warning. The formula just lets you know that you maybe missed a field that the system is going to want to be able to actually invoice. This is false, which means that you're good to go. It has not checked this ready for invoicing box yet, and that's because there's some automation that you actually can either schedule or you can kick off on your own. So we'll go ahead and walk through that now, and then we'll come back and take a peek at this, and you'll notice invoice line and billing status has updated. So what actually kicks us off, we're on Invoice Scheduler. We've created a screen flow that runs on this that kind of pairs a lot of the automation that we've created to facilitate this process along with the standard out-of-the-box Salesforce Billing functionality. So we'll just kind of walk through this. Again, this is completely customizable. You can make it read however you like. This just make sure the customer understands that they're about to generate some invoices. So click next. If there's usage, we can load in and we'll say, yep, we've done usage. Then we've got our one-off charges or add-on charges. Have we loaded those in the system? We'll say yes. And then when we hit next, it's actually running some automation in the background. It's kind of going in and preparing data, getting everything ready to actually generate an invoice, and then facilitate the actual invoice scheduler here, which we're going to kick off. So it'll take just a second to do that, and then this will pop up on the right-hand side like it just did. Actual invoice scheduler date information, right? So we've set it up to generate a scheduler in advance here. It does look like I can try and get this in just a couple seconds. We'll make this today. Invoice date is in. We'll just call it one time. All right, so the invoice scheduler that we've just created in the screen flow actually updates the one that we're on. So as you can see here, we'll go ahead and refresh this. This is updated now to run at system time, which is 103. You can see that the last modified date was by me whenever we ran the screen flow over to the side. The screen flow is a ton of automation that's going in the background and preparing, creating a bunch of records, stringing them all together. It's taking care of the kind of the busy part that normally is kind of like prohibitive to easily being able to invoice somebody something. So now that this has ran, an invoice scheduler is actually going to run, we'll have an invoice run that actually creates associated invoices. So the way that we can kind of go and validate that this process has functioned is we'll navigate back to our add-on charge here, which I have on this other tab. We'll just go ahead and hit refresh here and see if the system is run. No, so what you can notice here is it's checked the box that it's ready for invoicing. So what's happening in the background, again, as I mentioned, there is some automation that ran. It went through and picked everything up. It's created all the associated records, and now we're just waiting on invoice scheduler and the subsequent invoice run to actually conclude. Go ahead and hit refresh again. Still don't have an invoice line yet. Give me just a second. Got a run going. Oh man, it's a slow one. So we will give this just a second to run here. We're picking up steam now at 30%. We're almost done. All right, so this invoice run has completed. So now we can come back here, we'll refresh our add-on charge. Now you can see we have an invoice line that's been created. This invoice line is related to an invoice. Again, like this product setup is non-taxable, but anything that we use in differentiator could be used to populate tax information, so you can have variable tax by address. This is like all of our rules would pull in here based off of legal entity. This is just a single invoice line based on how you've dictated or set up the system. We can have many invoice lines. We can consolidate many one-off entries to an existing invoice that would have been created as a part of recurring fees. Could be set up as just an ad hoc standalone invoice for a single item or a combination of one-time billed products. But this is an invoice that was just created off a one-off charge. It retains all of the functionality that you would want and expect with Salesforce Billing. Cancel and rebill still functions. You're able to walk invoices back. So if you do combine it with existing invoices or existing scheduled invoices, then the system itself will actually correctly walk back with cancel and rebill and credit things correctly and roll order products back correctly, which is an absolute requirement anytime you're working with invoices. If you got an invoice that you need to cancel and rebill and you've just added invoice lines to it systemically, it doesn't, it's not able to be cancel and rebill, which will cause significant issues trying to get things down the line, both within your billing system and ERP. So we retain that functionality. You can come up here and hit cancel and rebill just to show you that it does indeed function. So we'll be able to walk this back here. It'll take just a second while Salesforce Billing's automation is actually running in the background, and then it'll pop up and say the invoice was successfully canceled. Go back to that invoice. Everything will reflect as canceled, just as it should. Then if you needed to make some kind of credit or change the underlying invoice and then regenerate it, you're absolutely able to do that still. So it's what I feel like is kind of a big game changer here is, again, you can do shipping, you can pass costs through to customers, you can mark things up, you can do it all very easily. without having to have gone through and created a quote, an opportunity, move things through, gone through approvals, things like that. It just allows you to quickly pass things through to the customer through a single record or even a single load file. You can do this as a part of a load file with many lines on that file, and then facilitate this process, group it across invoices all the same. So this is something that we're really proud of. We think it solves a need in the package in the space. So go ahead and message us, sales@thunder.com or thundersf.com. We'd be happy to chat with you more, do a demo, kind of talk through any kind of changes that need to be made. Like I said, that's the solution. Look forward to chatting with anybody that has questions, comments, feedback, and thanks for watching.